Hi everyone, welcome to my channel where you will find lots of useful things for babies, toddlers and young children. In this video, I'll be reading the Large Family series, the Mr. Large in Jars by Julie Murphy. So let's get started. Mrs. Large opened one eye and peered out at the morning. She first opened the other eye, dragged herself out of bed and set off downstairs to the kitchen, where Mr. Large had kindly started the children on their breakfast. "You look ghastly there," said Mr. Large. "Don't say that to Mummy," said Laura indignantly. "Mummy looks beautiful," exclaimed Lester. "Beautiful, Mummy. Good baby." "Yes, of course, Mummy is beautiful," said Mr. Lars. "I mean, she doesn't look well. Are you feeling all right, dear?" "As a matter of fact, I don't feel too good," admitted Mrs. Lars. "But I was going to take them all to the park later on. Then there is the shopping and the lawns and the race. Well, you don't have to worry about any of that," said Mr. Lars. "It's the weekend, so I'm in charge. Go on back to bed with you. We will take care of everything. Won't we, kids?" "You better," yelled Lester. Mrs. Lars trotted back upstairs, clutching a nice hot water bottle, and sank back into the bed, which was still warm. "What a treat," she said. Downstairs, Mr. Lars was organizing his troops. "Right, men," he commanded. "We are not all men," said Laura. "Oh, you know what I mean," said Mr. Lars. "Well, troops, then all right. I will take the worst task. That's the washing up." "Lester, you can tackle the hoovering," Luke, picking things up off the floor. Laura and the baby, general dusting and cushion pumping. Quick march. 1, 2, 1, 2, off you go. Mr. Lars turned on the radio, found a jolly tune to cheer everyone along, and soon they were all busy with their task. Upstairs, Mr. Lars was jolted back from the brink of sleep by the astonishing amount of noise blasting up through the floorboards. She listened anxiously for a while, but could soon tell they were mostly happy noises, so she wigged a pillow round her ear and decided to ignore it. Mrs. Lars had just drifted one to sleep when she was rudely awakened by the baby, who was giving her a throat dusting. "Sorry, Mom," yelled Laura, rushing in and grabbing the baby. The baby began to scream and hung onto the bedclothes so that they both fell over backwards. "This isn't proving very restful, Laura," said Mrs. Lars crossly as Laura disentangled herself and the baby and attempted to bundle the bedclothes back onto the bed. "Mommy! Huggy, Huggy!" screamed the baby. "Want my mommy, big Huggy now." Laura stuffed the baby under her arm and wrestled her out of the door. "Don't worry, Mom," she called as she closed the door behind them. "I will take her down to Dad." "Don't want Dad," wailed the baby. "Want Mom, want my mommy, want my mommy." Mr. Lars rearranged the mangled bedclothes and snuggled down, feeling decidedly jaggled. Suddenly there was an almighty crunch from downstairs, and the hoover stopped abruptly. The bedroom door opened, and Lester looked in. "It's all right, Mom," he reassured her. "Nothing broke. It just sounded bad." "Look ahead," appeared around Lester's knees. "That's all right, Mom," he agreed. "Nothing to worry about. You just go back to sleep. Everything under control." Mrs. Lars was finally dropping off when Mr. Lars crashed open the bedroom door. "We are all off to the park now, dear," he announced. "We will get the shopping on the way home, then we can bring you up a nice lunch." "Thank you, dear," said Mrs. Lars. "I'm having a lovely rest." Mr. Lars beamed and blew his wife a kiss as he backed out of the room, closing the door very quietly. Mrs. Lars closed her eyes and tried to relax. What seemed like 3 seconds later, the door crashed open again and all the children came charging in. "We're going to play football with Dad," yelled Lester. "In the garden," said Luke. "Now," said the baby. "Are you feeling a bit better?" asked Laura. "Mommy better?" asked the baby. "Big Huggy, a bit better," said Mrs. Lars. "You go and have fun with Daddy, and perhaps I'll be all right later on." Big Huggy, wept the baby, as Lester scooped her up and carried her out. "Big Huggy, Mommy now." "Don't worry, Mom," said Laura. "She loves football once she gets going." The door slammed shut for the 100th time. Mrs. Lars winked and sluttered down under the covers. Joyful sounds came drifting in from the garden, and Mrs. Lars smiled contentedly. Mr. Lars playing football with kids in garden. 5 minutes later, Lester burst into the bedroom. "Dad says, where are the baguettes?" he yelled. "Don't worry, Mom. It's not the baby." Dad tripped over the rake. "They are on top of the bathroom cabinet," said Mrs. Lars weakly. After a while, the door opened again, and Mr. Lars came in carrying a tray laden with tea and cakes. The children sneaked in behind him and lurked. The baby didn't lurk for long. She climbed grimly into the bed and clasped her mother round the neck. Big Oggy, she crooned. "Everyone out," ordered Mr. Lars. "Let Mommy have her rest. Now she's not well today." Mrs. Lars behaved herself into a sitting position and patted the covers. "That's all right, dear," she said. "I have been a very restful day and I'm feeling much better now. Why don't you all join me for tea?" "Well, if you are sure," said Mr. Lars, and everyone piled onto the bed to tell Mrs. Lars all about the day she would missed. They all were telling the story to Mrs. Lars, and they all, off you go, all resting and sleeping and having a tea. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the book. Remember to subscribe to my channel, and if you like my video, press the like button and share with your family and friend. I will see you in another series of the Lars family, all in one piece. Bye now.